So today I'm going to review my December Open powerlifting comp. My last YouTube video was basically me failing on my second single of the peak, which wasn't ideal, but everything went well regardless. So we're going to look through what happened on the day and how things went and how things unfolded, because this prep was for sure a lot different than my first two. So I was a lot more, I wouldn't say nervous, but my mindset was different. I think your first prep, you don't really mind what numbers you hit, and you're not too bothered about failing anything because it's your first comp. Now luckily I didn't, but you definitely have this air of kind of ignorant confidence, I would say. That's just my opinion. My second comp, things were just running well. I was a lot more calm, because I had like my first comp done. Second comp, I just wanted to go in and have some fun and, you know, try and push it a little bit more. And I was hitting PBs. I was much bigger. I was 100 kilos. And yeah, the mindset was very much calmer. But this comp, for some strange reason, this whole prep, I think it was because it was the final comp of the year in Ireland, held at Limerick City Gym in Limerick. And there was a lot of strong guys there. And now I'm not competitive yet in powerlifting. Yet is the key word. But there was a lot of strong dudes there. A lot of guys with big totals, previously big totals. And I think there was an air of everyone was just going to go and give their all. So I wanted to meet that standard. I wanted to turn up on the day and give it 100%. I even said it to my coach, who's Shane Story, that I want to give this 100%. I want all of my max attempts to be RP10s. I don't want to leave anything on the platform, because, you know, your first two comps, you kind of do, and your coach is going to naturally just see what you're able for on the day. And that's what I do with my own clients. Now, he'd be a close friend, but a client also. On his first comp, we kind of pushed things hard, and I suppose my coaching would have been a little bit too, I suppose, pandering to what he wanted on the day. But that was my very first comp that I ever, coached for. But anyway, so this time round it was different. My mindset was different. Even the days leading up to the comp, I was a little bit more nervous than normal. A little bit more anticipation, anxiety. But we're going to get into the day, we're going to look at it, and we're going to see what kind of PBs I hit. And now keep in mind that this would have been my second comp, where I competed at 90 kilos, so the under 93 category. And my second comp was I competed in the under 105s. So keep that in mind when you're watching this and the numbers that I hit. So my opening attempt was 205 for my squat. And to be honest with you, pretty easy opener. Nothing much to it. Felt pretty good. Felt confident coming into this. And as you can see, pretty much smoked it. My unrack was pretty tidy, which you'll see for my max attempt was not as tidy. Felt overall sharp on the day, especially for squats. For sure for squats, felt really sharp. My second attempt on squats then was 215. Again, felt pretty confident. Didn't feel like I was going to miss it. Unrack was pretty tidy. I did get one red on my second attempt, and I made sure to clean that up for my max attempt. So as you can see, I have a soft knee on the lockout. So power through that bottom position. I think it was my left knee was soft, so I got flagged red. A blue and a yellow technicality. Max attempt was 225. And by this stage now, I was still feeling pretty good. Didn't feel nervous. Well, I wouldn't say I didn't feel nervous. Felt, appropriately nervous. Wanted to make sure that this was a 10, like an all-out max. My coach asked me, we're going to go for 225. You all good with that? I said, yeah. I don't think I would have got 227. Possibly 227. I don't think I would have got 230. I hit 230 when I was 100 kilos, so 5 kilos in the difference at 90 kilos here. Weighed in at 90 kilos on the day. And we'll take a look. And you can be the judge of it. I thought this was a pretty solid rep. Like, it was a 10 for sure. You'll see now my own rack is pretty messy. Got caught in the clips a little bit. Took it aggressive, stayed tight, bottom position, drove up. And just that little sticking point, but I managed to power through. And really emphasised the lockout at the knees. And got 3 greens. So 3 whites. So very happy with that. Overall, after that, like, that was, I'm not much of a celebrating kind of guy, but definitely was happy with that, for sure. So then in the back, I have no clips of what was going on in the back, unfortunately, because I tend to just kind of be in Zen mode. But in the loading room, so I had just taken pre-workout before squats, then ate some food, kind of chilled out for a little while, and the only food I brought with me, which was a big no-no, and if you are a powerlifter and you're starting off fresh here, just take this advice. Don't bring a banana, and do not drink pre-workout after eating a banana. And I'll explain to you later why. But didn't do that yet, but was tempted to eat something. Didn't eat anything, I just drank water. I think I had a snack bar, or a square bar, just to kill the hunger, and that was it. And then we were on to bench. So bench press, if anything, was moving pretty well. My warm-ups were in the back. You know, they weren't bad. They were pretty okay. I think when I got to my actual first attempt moved better than my warm-up in the back. So this is what kind of gave me confidence here, because we had a bit of an issue with bench press. Yeah, my first opening bench was 130. Smoked it, 3 whites. We get on to second attempt, 337 or 137. Pretty confident here. They had a Lico kit, which I wouldn't be very used to using. The bench was pretty slippy. Good pause, good lockout. And I got 3 whites. Yeah, 3 whites. Now, for my final attempt, we decided to go 145. So when I was 100 kilos, I hit 145 in my last comp before this one. In my prep, I hit 140. So this will be on the screen here somewhere. So given how well the 137 moved, my coach was pretty confident would have hit 145. And the fact that I hit 140 in my prep, 2 of us are pretty confident. So let's see what happens. One thing I will say in a comp, music choice for bench press is awful. The hype in the crowd is terrible. So it's very much like you're just going out just to a low energy signal, sometimes in your head. So come down to the chest, felt the right elbow buckle a little bit, and just couldn't break it beyond that point in my chest. Got 3 reds, obviously I failed the lift. Do I think I would have hit 142? Yeah, I think I would have. I think I would have got 142, no problem. Because based off of how my 140 moved in prep, like, you know, a lot of fatigue, last single of the peak. So I think I would have got 142. Was unfortunate because I really wanted to hit the 145. But it just wasn't there on the day. Happy I went for it though, because if I had got it, it would have been a max attempt. One other thing I think as well, I got a red on my 145 when I was 100 kilos because I let my ass lift. No, I didn't fail it, that was one technicality. So I was very focused on not letting my butt lift because I wanted to get 3 whites. And not to say that I should have just let my ass lift, but I definitely think I should have let some of my technique break down a tiny bit to get that barbell back. I just focused really hard on keeping the technique properly, which in my own mind was a better standard. But I think that might have been one of the issues as to why I possibly didn't hit it, because I think if I had just maybe let my shoulders go into a little bit more internal rotation, try and get myself underneath that barbell a little bit more. Yes, you're going to risk an injury from doing those things, but you know, when you're on comp day, like, you want to give it everything. So yeah, I ended up failing 145. But look, if I can hit it again in next comp, or possibly even hit 150 at 90 kilos, I'd be pretty happy. Okay, on the deadlift. So at this point now, we're in the back area. So taking our usual rest in between, letting the rest of the flight continue. And this is where I decided to have a banana and pre-workout. So what was on the menu was to hit 260 on my last attempt. So I wanted to fucking go for this. So got a scoop and a half pre-workout, ate my banana, and within like 20 minutes, like, I felt like I was going to shit my pants. So it was an interesting one. We'll just say on the first attempt, or my second attempt, that I thought I shat my pants. I didn't, but I thought I did. Well, let's look at our deadlifts. So my first attempt, I opened with 235. Confident. I like deadlifts. I'm pretty confident when I hit my deadlifts. Go that slack pull. Pull that bitch off the floor. Nice and easy. I will say, in Limerick City Gym, for deadlifts, the hype was fucking mighty. And the guy in the mic was fucking great. Like, he was really good to get the crowd hyped up. So that was a massive help. Now, I was blessed with my final attempt music. Absolutely blessed, because I actually know that song and I use it quite a lot for when I'm hitting PBs in the gym. So that was a big bonus. So my second attempt, then everything moved pretty well. I think we went for 150, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see. No, this is one. We went for 145. Or sorry, we went for 245. So let's take a look here. So this was the rep now that I thought I shot my pants. So as soon as I took brace and pulled the slack out of the bar, I ripped ass. Thank God the music was really loud. Ripped that bar off the floor. 3 whites. Nice. Okay, so final attempt. At this point now, my coach had asked me, he had said to me as I walked in, 255. And I said, yeah, I always just go with what my coach says, because I trust him to pick the right loads. And fair enough, with the 145, both of us were pretty confident that was going to be hit on the day. But anyway, he asked me 255. I'm sure he probably was thinking in his own head, he wanted to end with a deadlift and not have a fail on it. Anyway, I said, yeah, no problem. We went into the back, sat down, relaxed. Thumbs were rattled because I pulled hook grip. And he came up to me, he said, I put in for 260. And I was like, yes. Okay, nice. Okay, so let's fucking... My mindset at this stage was, let's just fucking laser focus. Get in here. Everything is automatic. Try not to overthink what you're doing. Just focus on coming up to the barbell. Set yourself up as you normally would. And just fucking rip that shit. And in the back of my mind that whole time, I was afraid I was going to shit my pants. But at this point, I didn't care. So I was going to pull that 260 regardless. But as I said, the hype was mighty. This was going to be my final attempt. And was nervous because obviously failing at 145 on bench was the first time I ever failed a lift on the platform. So there was I wouldn't say there was a lot of confidence dip, but there was a sliver of doubt that was creeping into my mind. And I think that's the difference between this prep and the previous prep and even the comp day. There was just an air of doubt. A little bit of doubt was starting to sleep in. But I quickly erased that from my mind in the back and just ignored it and just continued to hammer on. Like, as I said, there was a lot of strong dudes there. A lot of ABS guys there, really strong guys. I'm only in powerlifting 3 years. So, and powerlifting in Ireland is great, it's really welcoming and warming, but still, when you're there on the day, there's a lot of guys that the energy is tense. I will say that for sure. Like I did my very first comp was in Cork. It was September Open, and like there was young guys just failing lifts. You know, some guys were nervous. Some guys were saying about how they didn't even peak for the comp, that they just signed up and they're just turning up on the day. It just seemed like more fun, but this had an air to it that like guys were coming in here now to put a show on, and I wanted to match that energy. So like letting that doubt into my mind, you know, just wasn't going to happen. And you could sense that air of like, these guys aren't here to chat. These guys aren't here to, you know, to not that they're not here to have fun, but they're not here to mess around. You know, they're not here to fuck up their decisions. They're here to fucking lift and get put a good show on. So I wanted to have that same intent in my own mind. Anyway, Chris, let's look at 260. So the tune was perfect.
Let's go now.
Nasal breaths to get myself hyped up. Sharp breaths. Stomach was bloated. Felt like I was going to shit my pants. Hook grip that bitch. Pull the slack. And just keep fucking pulling. And I got 3 whites. Fucking delighted. Now I will say, do I think I would have pulled 262? I think so. I think I would have. But I was happy with that. I would have gave that an RP 9.5, I think. But like the hype was massive. As I said, I was willing to risk it all to pull that weight off the floor. Technique was pretty solid. And that was the end of the comp. So I think I totaled with 627, I think. I'll get the number up here on the screen. Overall though, class comp. I know it's March now, so I'm pretty late getting this video up. So it's not all that relevant, but very happy with the day. Had some pints afterwards, relaxed. I was fucking shot after it. And since then, I've been dieting down. I've dieted down from 91 kilos down to 85 kilos at the moment. So I have no clips or videos of my diet, but the aim is to make a series out of my gaining phase, which is going to be a year long, and I'm going to compete again in December Open at the end of this year. And the hope is to hit 150, hoping for a 270 deadlift. I'm going to call it 230, 235 squat. Maybe. Let's see. My coach said that he thinks I'm going to be able to hit 250, 150 and possibly a 270 deadlift by the end of the year. So I don't have doubts in that, but I'm going to set my expectations a little bit lower and try and live up to his, and that's the goal for the next year. So my diet is ending. I'm going to put up some progress pictures here of how much progress I've made. My diet is ending in a couple of weeks, and then I'm going to just touch on maybe a couple of videos on what I'm doing, and then we're going to go for a series, a year-long series, a YouTube every 2 weeks, YouTube video every 2 weeks of what I'm doing during my gaining phase, how training is going, the progress I'm making, the downfalls and the ups of being in a gaining phase, and some of the mini cuts that I'm going to do along the way if I have them. So yeah, that's it. That is my December Open review of how I got on for the day. And if you want to give me a follow, that would be great. And if you want to tag along to see what my gaining phase is going to look like over the next year, which is going to start on April 1st, on April Fool's Day, make sure to give a follow, like, and share this video. I don't know if people share on fucking YouTube or not, but like it and follow. That would be great.